What's up friends, Chook here, and now that E3 is finished, this is just a quick little video to tell you why you should be super excited for Monster Hunter World and another game called Dauntless coming out. Well, Dauntless comes out the end of this year, I believe, and Monster Hunter World is next year. So, if you guys didn't know, my three favorite gaming series are Legend of Zelda, Bloodborne, and Dark Souls, like the Soulsborne series, and Monster Hunter. I'm a huge fan. I can't recommend it enough. Everyone that I've got to play it and got into it has fallen in love with it as well. So it's really cool that they're making a version for the PC. It's also on PS4 and Xbox One, but there is a PC version coming out, and that's amazing because it's always on. It used to be on PS Vita and 3DS and stuff, and it was all handheldy, which was fine. But going out on the powerful systems and PCs and stuff, it's so good. Anyway, so for anyone that doesn't know what it is, because it's huge in Japan, it's like bigger than Pokemon in Japan, but outside of Japan, in you know, the US and Europe and here in Australia and stuff, like hardly anyone knows what it is, and it's a giant crime because it's amazing. But basically, you go around and you gather materials like herbs and honey and bugs and fish and bones, and you mine ore and all that sort of stuff. And you obviously hunt monsters, being called Monster Hunter, and you carve those monsters for monster parts. So, for instance, if you're fighting well, in the trailer behind on the screen, you can see that there's this giant T-Rex looking thing, and that is obviously one of the new monsters that they're showing off. You can fight that monster, and if you particularly need its tail, like a part of its tail for the gear you're needing, you would have to chop its tail off. Or if you needed its wings, you would have to bust up its wings. Or if you needed like a monster's horns, you would have to like smack it in the head, etc., etc. So there's different hitboxes on the monster, and you need to destroy those hitboxes to get the monster parts you need, if that makes sense. And then you use those materials to make gear out of those monsters, which takes on their attributes. So for instance, in the trailer, the big dinosaur T-Rex looking thing goes up to the top of the trees, and there's that fire-breathing dragon, which is called a Rathalos, which is kind of like the flagship monster for the Monster Hunter series. Everybody thinks of the Rathalos when you think of Monster Hunter. So that Rathalos is obviously breathes fire, and so if you killed it and you made armor and weapons out of it, they would take on fire properties. And it's kind of like Pokemon, where there's all different properties in the game: fire, ice, lightning, water, dragon, and all this sort of stuff. And typically, fire will be strong against ice will be strong against lightning will be strong against dragon, for example. There's different monsters have different weaknesses to certain things, but that kind of rock, paper, scissors thing is in play. So the cool thing about it is that monsters don't have HP bars, so you don't know how long you've got to go until it's dead, or what stage of life it's in. So what you have to do is you have to pay attention and look for signs of weakness or fatigue or something like that in the monster to see how far away it is from death, or just how well it's doing, basically. It's a really cool mechanic. It sounds hard and annoying, and it is hard. It's not annoying at all. It's great. So rather than have just a HP bar and you have to hit this monster like 80 times or whatever and it dies, you really have to pay attention. And you can either kill monsters and then carve them, like I spoke before, or you can capture them. And if you kill it, obviously you can't capture it. So to capture a monster, they have to be really weak. So yeah, again, you need to bash on them. You need to do everything you need to do. And if you get them weak, they'll start limping, or typically go back to their lair to sleep to regain like health and stuff like that. And that's when you know that the monster's in trouble and you can catch it. And you get different rewards for capturing or killing. So if there's a particular part of the monster that you might need as a reward, like wikis and stuff will find that out, but you might need to capture it rather than kill it, because it might be beneficial for you. So yeah, you really need to pay attention to what you're doing to see if the monster is weak or not. Now, like I said before, with the Rathalos up in the tree, there will be other large monsters in the map with you that aren't just the monster you're targeting. So you can use that for your advantage, and it might also come to your disadvantage. So like in the trailer, the T-Rex was up in the top of the tree, and the big Rathalos came down and went to town on it. So yeah, there will be other monsters in the map with you. So yeah, you can run into other things that aren't your target and use that to your advantage potentially, or get yourself in trouble. There will also be destructible terrain and traps that you can also use to your advantage. So you saw in the trailer that there's this giant rock and you can, hanging by vines, and you could shoot the rock and it would fall down onto the monster and do massive damage. Now the cool thing is, in previous Monster Hunter games, like every other Monster Hunter game that's ever existed, the map was broken up into different segmented areas. So you would have, I'll try and find it, if I remember, put a photo up on top of the footage, but you had like a map that was broken up into 12 areas. So you would go from like zone 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 7 maybe, that type of thing. So if you were fighting a monster and you're getting your ass kicked, you could just run out of the zone into another zone where the monster wasn't, heal up, sharpen your weapon, do all these type of things, and then go back. This game, it's once you load into the hunt, it's all loaded. It's all seamlessly loaded. They've still got apparently the segmented areas on the map, but there's no loading in between them. So if you're getting killed and you need to run, the monster's just gonna run after you. So there's nowhere to hide, and that is really, really cool, because I think that takes that whole, you can just go into a different zone and heal up and stuff and go back out. It doesn't make sense in the real world. Like if you were fighting a monster, it would chase you. So now it does, which is sweet. Now in all other Monster Hunter games, as well as that, you could always, whenever you used an item, such as eating a steak to get stamina back, or drinking a potion to get health back or whatever, you couldn't do it while moving. And it would also stop you, hence it would stop you, and you would do this long animation, and you would flex afterwards, which is hilarious, flex your muscles afterwards. But yeah, you could, if you ever needed to use an item, you would have to put your weapons away and then stop, use the item, and then take your weapon back out. That's gone. You can now use your items while moving. You can't do it while sprinting, but apparently you can still move while drinking and eating and stuff. So that's awesome. Now it is a single player offline game and a 4-player co-op game online, which is amazing, because trust me, Monster Hunter Online with 3 friends is the best experience, multiplayer experience. Holy crap, it's so good. And what they've done in previous games, you would have to get everybody together in a lobby and then go out on a hunt. So if you had 3 people and you were waiting for a 4th and no one was coming, and you went into the hunt, and then like a minute into the hunt, a 4th person came into the room, they would have to wait for you to finish to join you on the next hunt. And hunts can typically go for anywhere from 20 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on what you're doing. So that was really annoying. But now they've got it where there's an item in the game called a flare, and you just shoot the flare up into the sky, which you saw in the trailer. And once you do that, it opens the room up, and anyone can just come in and join you. So if you're playing by yourself and you come into some trouble, you can just put up a flare and have your friends come in and help you on the spot, which is amazing. Now there's 14 weapons in the Monster Hunter series. And they're all making a return. So they are Sword and Shield, Dual Blades, Longsword, Great Sword, Hammer, Hunting Horn, which is kind of like, it's like a massive hammer, but you can play songs with it and give buffs to your team. A Switch Axe, which is an axe, a giant axe that can also transform into a giant sword, which is one of my personal favorites. A Charge Blade, which is a giant axe that can transform into a sword and shield, which is also cool. An Insect Glaive, which it's kind of like this giant, well, it's a glaive, like a giant spear staff thing. A lance, a gun lance, which is a lance with a gun on it, obviously. A bow and arrow, a light bow gun, and a heavy bow gun. So just the light bow gun is a quick little, like, think of them kind of like, well, they're kind of like guns, I guess. Anyway, that is basically what Monster Hunter is all about. Now, I'm not going to rant for too long, because this has already been going for nearly 10 minutes. But that's Monster Hunter done. Now Dauntless, why you should be excited for Dauntless is Monster Hunter World, which we've just talked about, was announced at E3. And they're really trying to get the game, Capcom is really trying to get the game to appeal to Western audiences and everything out of Japan, because it's so massive in Japan, and in the rest of the world, I was saying before, it's not that big. So that's their take on it, is to get it onto the next gen consoles and PC and stuff to really hit it home around the world. Now, the people that make Dauntless have obviously seen that potential in Monster Hunter and have done the same thing, but they're making Dauntless free to play. So until Monster Hunter World was announced at E3 just gone, everybody in the Monster Hunter community was frothing at the mouth at Dauntless, because it's like, holy shit, I can play a Monster Hunter game, style game at least, with my friends on PC, and it's free to play. It's going to be amazing. So I don't know too much about Dauntless, because it hasn't, like, it's not even in alpha yet. I think the alpha starts in August, but you need to buy a founder pack to be able to join that, and I think that's about $80 US. So if you're interested, that's always an option. But it's basically their version of a Monster Hunter type game. So everything I've just said will be similar enough to Dauntless. They might not have the exact same mechanics, but it will still be a 4-player cooperative game that you go out and you hunt your monsters and you know, show signs of weakness and all this sort of stuff. There's no health bars and all the rest of it. And it's trust me, if you've never played it, it's amazing. And hopefully just from those little trailers that have been in the background looping, will get you interested and psyched for it, because holy crap, it's so good. So I'm definitely going to want to get people from the Coop to play together, and I will be featuring both of these games heavily on the channel when they do come out. So like I said, Dauntless alpha starts in August. Hopefully the open beta will be sometime at the end of the year, and I'm pretty sure they were saying they were trying to get a release window this year. So hopefully the whole Dauntless free-to-play experience will be out by December. And then Monster Hunter World comes out on PS4 and Xbox One early next year. They haven't given a time yet, and sometime later on PC. So hopefully it's not too long for PC. Hopefully it's not like a month or two, or a couple of weeks even, and it's not like 6 months or a year, because that would suck. But yeah, that's the plan at least. Either way, let me know if you're interested, because I would love to play with everybody, and I would love to get a whole group of us in there, in a Monster Hunter guild and Dauntless guild, and you know, go down and hunt monsters together, and it would be fucking fantastic. Either way, let me know if you're interested. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.